So BIM, it's as it describes, it's like building information modeling, which is how you like create, modify, and analyze all the information about a building.
I think, okay, Harsha is
Hey,
here with us. Hi, Harsha, how are you?
hey, Upanji, I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you, and thank you for joining us at such a short notice. So, everyone, meet Harsha and please say hi to him. So, let's just get started with. So, Harsha, could you, for everyone over here present on the call, explain a bit about what you are currently doing and a bit about your background?
Yeah, okay. Briefly about me. I grew up in Hyderabad from in India. Later, went to School of Planning and Architecture for my architectural degree. Worked in Bangalore for about 3 years. Moved to the US to pursue my master's in sustainable design, with my more interest for a sustainable future for everyone. And then I've been working with Cooper Carey here in Washington, D.C. for the last 3 years now.
Okay, wow, that's been an incredible journey. So, in terms of this, so just to give an idea to everyone, um, what was the timeline for this entire journey of yours, and by what age were you already working at Cooper Carey, and sort of working in US?
So I graduated from School of Planning and Architecture from in 2014. Like took a small break, like trying to figure out things, like what to do in life and what should I be doing architecture. Uh, and then I gave it a shot. Started working with CNT Architects in Bangalore for about 3 years, and then I was too comfortable, and then I moved out from there. Thought of experiencing a master's in a different country, different place, and I moved to like Pittsburgh here to pursue my master's at Carnegie Mellon, um, which actually opened up a lot of opportunities. Um, I met a lot of people who gave me more opportunities to work with them, and eventually ended up with one of the best team I think I've been working with at Cooper Carey right now for the last 3 years. Been working on a couple of hospitality projects and a lot of lead buildings around in the US.
Got it. So, what exactly has been your role at Cooper Carey, and in the past 3 years that you have been working, how is it that it has evolved?
Um, so I had some experience back in India with architecture, even though it's not considered as an experience here in the US. So I started out fresh. Um, I started learning how it works in the US, like different building codes, different um, like different ways of design, different firms. So I started out as a fresh architectural designer here, and as in the last 3 years, I think I grew up to be more responsible for the work I do here, and I was given more responsibility um, from what I've known. So it has been a great journey so far and a lot of learning. I'm sure everyone learns from the workplace they're at. Um, so yeah, that's where we are
Okay,
right now.
so I think Harsha, you're being a bit too humble. So just to tell everyone out here, Harsha is currently one of the youngest sustainability lead and BIM project managers for one of the biggest projects that's going on at Cooper Carey in terms of the hospitality aspect of it. And I mean, it's great what you have accomplished. And I think the fact that all of us are having this live talk today is to talk about that journey and get a deeper understanding of what it means to be at that role and having that responsibility. And so what we've done is we've put together a bunch of questions that we've been getting from a lot of the people that have been, following you and following the journey of the BIM and Revit professional course as well. So also, just before we start and jump straight to the questions, I just want to tell all of you guys to use the question and answer button you see at the bottom of your screen to put in all the questions. This is going to be a very sort of question answer based session, not going to be a lecture, and it's just going to be about helping you guys, like helping you answer. Just pick our brains in answering your questions and queries related to BIM. So with that, let's get started with a question we hear a lot from everyone we talk about, and that is related to what exactly BIM is. And also, as a designer, if I'm getting into BIM, does it mean I'm going to start drafting, or am I still going to be a designer? That's a concern a lot of us have.
So BIM, it's as it describes, it's like building information modeling, which is how you like create, modify, and analyze all the information about a building. So I think it's just a tool. So BIM is different from Revit. Revit is just a tool as one of the tools of BIM, which you use to like create and modify design. So it's just a tool. It's not going to replace designing. We designers have a lot of tools we use in our everyday life, and each designer has his own tools. I think it's just going to support our design process and not rather like replace the design.
Got it. So basically, it's about, obviously, there's that distinction between Revit and BIM being a process. So, in terms of understanding your role a bit further, for those people who are looking on, let's say, following those steps and becoming someone who's also leading a project in terms from the BIM perspective, how would you describe the role to them? And also, what does your typical day as a BIM manager look like?
Got it. Here's an example how I can give an example of how I work here at Cooper Carey. We've been working on a huge project with multiple consultants, and everyone work on Revit. So it's multiple models: architectural model, structural model, MEP model, and the contractor on site also uses this model to actually analyze the building components and make sure everything is in place in terms of space. Before construction. So it actually helps everyone understand that everything is in the right place before it actually is built on site. And we had a big team of people working on one model. So if you're a BIM manager of a project, you need to make sure everything is in place. It's just managing the whole, a lot of information goes into a building, right? So it's all about managing the information. It's that simple. but yeah, there's a lot to learn. It's not that challenging. It's I think most of the architects use BIM like these days. It helps. It has been a big help for us, moving from AutoCAD back in the days, or drafting back in the days, to AutoCAD, and now we have like BIM. It's just an advancement in how we design and how we manage our documents.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's move a step back and let's talk from the perspective of our audience who's watching this. So let's say I am someone who's just graduated out of architecture college, and I am very interested in this particular field. What are those skills that I should have to, let's say, know that this is a career which I can pursue?
I think it's just, BIM is not a career. I think you can be an architect, you can be a sustainability strategist, you can be a BIM manager. So BIM is just a tool which helps you advance in your own career. So I've known people who've done architecture and who are BIM managers right now, or they are still being an architect, or moved on to do sustainable modeling and analyze buildings. So like a total sustainability strategist or a consultant. So it's just a tool. It helps. I think it helps everyone in the construction industry, including architects, engineers, contractors. So I think it's a very essential tool that would help everyone uh, for their own work and also to collaborate with each other.
Okay. So apart from obviously helping out the industry work on, let's say, projects faster and the benefits of using BIM, now let's think about it from a perspective of I've just graduated. I am hearing all these things in, like, I'm reading up online that BIM is changing the industry. It's one of the most in demand skills. Is that right? And also, where are these opportunities?
As you see, every firm is looking for new fresh architects coming out of grad schools or architecture schools. And of course, it's this having a BIM as an extra skill helps them like get the job. So I think it's one of the skills the firms are looking for in everyone they hire. I think that helped me like get a job like back in the day. So I think it's just one of the important skills you can have to be on the top of the list of in the competition you have like to get a job in a firm. Um, yeah. So
So, do you think that helped you get an edge while you were looking for a job, or when Cooper Carry recruited you?
so back in the day when I was working in India in with CNT architects, uh, I had some great mentors I was working with. That's how I learned how to work on Revit, while working on a project. I think that's how most of us learn any tool while working on a project. Um, and that work actually helped me like get a job here at Cooper Carry because they see what I've done before in Revit, and they know that I already have some skills on that, and they don't have to teach me that again. So I've already had some skills that could help them. So that's what I think got me a better job.
Great. So, now with your past, let's say, decade worth of experience, how have you seen this industry evolve, or what are the changes that you've visibly seen that people who are graduating right now must pay attention to?
Um, so back in the day when I started architecture school in 2009, hand drawings were still a thing. Uh, in the and then we started using AutoCAD. We started moving on to, like a 2D modeling, and then SketchUp, and I mean there are a lot of tools that you can use to represent your design or display your design, right? Um, I think in the last 10 years we've evolved from drafting, AutoCAD, and now it's like 3D modeling. So I think we constantly are evolving in the field of construction with the tools we use. So yeah, I think we have to like push ourselves in learning and keeping ourselves updated with like what's happening in the industry, and BIM is one of the like the largest tools like that you can use. Um, yeah.
Okay, so before we proceed to the next question, which is about whether small firms also require BIM, I would just request everyone who's asking the questions in the chat. I see there are a lot of questions. Just put it up in the question tab, which you see right next to the comment bar. So please do use that. We will be taking the question soon. So with that, let's move on to the question about, again, one of the things we get asked is that, okay, BIM is something that's very fancy. It is something only meant for the big firms like ACOM or Cooper Carry. But what about if I'm starting off my own firm? How will it benefit me?
Um, yeah, I believe every small firm wants to grow eventually. So it's good to have a BIM specialist or a BIM experienced person in the small firm, right? So who can teach others in the small firm. That might be a good start with. So it's not complicated. It's not for the big firms. I think everyone should have the knowledge about it, understand what it does, at least understand what it does, so they can eventually grow towards it.
Got it. Okay. So apart from that, we'll also be getting a bit into the BIM and Revit professional course, which you have curated along with the Oneistox team. So about that, what was the one thing that made you want to curate a particular structure like the one that we have made? And what do you think is the most unique part of it, which you want that everyone learns?
So when one is to X approached me about this the course, which I thought was very unique, that you're involving like like real professionals around the world, like trying to share their experiences, their real life experiences with everyone who's going to learn this course. I think that is something very unique that you don't usually see in school or or any other courses. So I think this is I always felt like someone should have like given me like real life advices rather than going to school and learning from your classes. Um, I think sharing our experiences would benefit like the students like taking this course would like give them an opportunity to to think about if they really want to like pursue architecture or be a BIM manager or be a to like go towards management or sustainability strategist. There's so many like branches to architecture, uh, or work with a client, work with a contractor. um, so I think these real life experiences might help. Um, um, like sharing these real life experiences might help students a lot, which is what I think is very unique about this course.
Awesome. So, who do you think would benefit the most by learning BIM? So, I see a lot of questions already coming up talking about should interior designers take this up, or how? So, in terms of your personal experience, what kind
Hmm.
of different fields have you seen who are involved in this industry, and what are the opportunities in terms of the options that open up?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. So back when I started working, it was just the architects working in BIM. But the project I'm working right now, we have landscape architects use BIM, we have civil engineers use BIM, we have interior designers use BIM, we have mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineers use BIM, architects and structural engineers use BIM. Not only all the consultants, but also the contractor on site like uses BIM. And when I say BIM, BIM is just not Revit, right? So it has uh, InfraWorks, Navisworks. So there's a lot of branches to BIM. So it's all about building information that how you connect and how you collaborate with each other.
Got it. And in terms of India, is the while you are currently been working in US and you seen BIM reach to a certain stage, what do you think about a country wherein most of our tribe is, which is in India, and what do you think is the advancement over there with respect to this industry?
As I said, this is how it's going to be in the future. So I think it's good to start right away. Uh, be one of the top like first firms to implement BIM in the projects we do in India. I know mostly architects work on BIM, but I think we should like push towards all our consultants and like site managers working like using BIM as a tool to handle things more efficiently. And so this, I think BIM minimizes errors on site, also saves money, saves time, like for everyone.
Okay. So what we'll be doing is we have 10 minutes. So we'll be taking up all the questions that we've got from everyone. Also, Cooper Carey says hi. So, okay, with that, let's start off with the first question. So, there'll be quick questions like buzz around. So, the first
Mhm.
question is Revit or ArchiCAD?
Revit. I never used ArchiCAD. I'm sure people use it, but I have no idea. I think ArchiCAD is more like AutoCAD. Um, but from what I know, Revit has more tools and more options, and that's what everyone uses here in the US and India. Um, I guess ArchiCAD is mostly used in Europe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. So, next question is how to learn BIM professionally if you are working in an architecture firm who hasn't adapted to BIM in their office?
I mean, there are a lot of online courses, and 1:X is having a course right now, so learn from that and be the first person to learn it and teach people in in your own firms. Um, and I think that's how everyone learns.
Okay. So next question would be, is it reliable to do masters in BIM? So I think mostly what the idea is about, again, what are the opportunities? If I do learn BIM, what does it
Mm.
open out for me professionally?
Yeah, I don't think there's masters for BIM, but I've done my master's in sustainability, and you do have options to like choose your courses when you do your master's. So I think one of the courses I've done was like BIM for sustainability, like analyzing like building information to monitor the sustainable the scale of the building and see how and what can be modified to make it more sustainable. So so BIM is just a tool for everyone. And I think you don't have to do masters in BIM, but you can certainly do your own masters in whichever like course you're interested in and learn BIM um, along with it.
Okay. So now, what are your thoughts on? So this, I think, this question also leads in from what you were talking about. What are your thoughts on sustainability and BIM? And how has your journey been with doing a master's in sustainability, then moving on to BIM as well?
I believe all of us architects have to work towards more sustainable buildings, like designing more sustainable buildings, um, learn more about it. I think we are all we all are facing we're all working on a couple of lead buildings all around the world in India, in the US. Um, but I think we need to like push further towards more carbon neutral buildings. So that's why I did my master's to learn more about it on sustainability, and it's still a struggle. Most of the architects still it's still a struggle to find clients who really want to build sustainable buildings to spend more on that. So I think, but I think that's the future for us. So um, I would recommend everyone to uh, learn more about it and try to work on like try to design more sustainable buildings.
Okay. So sustainability is the future, and yeah, keep at it basically. So now another question by Kevin over here is, this is a pretty funny question, very interesting too. How did ancient architects manage without BIM, and now that we do have BIM, how can that be made more special? What is so special about it?
This ancient architects also had them. This they had the information in the form of drawings, like on paper, right? It was just it took more time to coordinate back then. But now with we're all working from home. Back then, you used to have to be working with each other in person, share drawings, send drawings to site. Now we don't even send drawings to site. We just send a PDF. So it's just a different form of BIM from what we had before and what we have right now. So so nothing has changed. We just evolved to be more efficient and faster, saving time and money. Um,
Yeah, I think that ties into the fact that first we traveled by horses, now we have cars.
exactly.
Things just keep getting more efficient.
Yeah.
So, okay, with that, when you mentioned remote jobs, I have a question lined up exactly for that, which talks about, is remote part-time job something that becomes an option if you do learn BIM and perhaps open up opportunities in other countries for you?
Um, I don't know how world is right now. We're still living in a pandemic, right? And I've been working from home. The whole Kupukeri has been working from home. We've been trying to get into the office once in a while. Uh, but as a firm, I think we are going in the future towards part-time work from home and part-time in the office. Um, Not sure about how each firm is going to do in the future because we're still not sure about how it's going to be in the next year. Like, right? So, yeah, I think it depends on the job and who they're working with. it has been going like well with my team. We've been working from home for the last 1 year. I think like the technology helps a lot to coordinate with your team. Um, Especially with like BIM is on cloud now, which is so you don't have to, you know, work in the office.
Okay, so I think that's great considering that's going to be a news to everyone over here because a lot of architecture firms in India are currently operating out of office because of that technological gap that does still exist, and because of using softwares like AutoCAD that are still very prevalent. So
Mm.
hopefully, like in a few years, we do see a time where we do have remote jobs which are accessible for architects as well. And another question very related to softwares. I think everyone is very sort of eager and enthused to learn a lot of softwares. Next question is Revit or Rhino?
Uh, I've used Revit and Rhino. It's just like different tools. It's like asking a sketch pen or a ball pen. You can use both of them. Just, you can if it helps your design, you can if you think you want to work on parametric design options, you can use Rhino and then later import it to Revit. So it's all different tools. It's like using Photoshop or Illustrator. So there's no this or that. It's always maybe both.
Okay. So, with that, there's another question related to the workflows that are probably there at your office that you followed for your project, considering it's a huge project. Uh, how did you go about it? What was the team structure, and what were the different softwares and workflows that you used throughout that lifetime of building it out?
Back then, when I was working in India, we used to, start sketching the design, bringing it to AutoCAD to understand the scale, like build a conceptual 3D model in SketchUp, and then once you think the design is frozen and the client wants to go ahead with that, then you start modeling in Revit. But once I've understood, I think Revit has also evolved in the past couple of years, and now I think this is how we work here at Cooper Carey is that we start off like the design in Revit itself by so that you can analyze your conceptual design. You can run the parameters of, like to see how energy efficient the building is. Um, right in the conceptual design rather than moving towards construction and then trying to analyze how energy efficient it is because it's going to be more expensive to change the design in the construction phase rather than in the conceptual phase. So we've been like using like Revit um, right from the design stage, um, which was a big change from my previous experience to what I do right now.
Okay, so that is something new that I learned today because Revit in conceptual design, I thought it was just about, creating construction drawings and just replacing the BOQs. Does that happen though?
Uh, like I said, as Revit evolved, there are more options right now. You can do an energy model. Uh, there's like different kinds of models you can build in Revit. Like I said, everyone's using Revit right now. All our consultants are using Revit, even our landscape architects, our civil engineers. So yeah, I think there is a misconception of about how like Revit it is very rigid and it doesn't allow you to, it's not flexible with design. But I think that has changed and you have more options to design in Revit as well. Um, so give it a shot.
Nice. Okay. So with that, what we'll do is we'll be wrapping up the session for today. And before all of you do leave, we just want to tell you about the course that Harsha has curated with Oneistox along with other top industry experts working at companies like Cooper Carey, Big, Zaha, etc. Uh, and this is a 24-week course which is invite based only, and the applications are open now. So after this session I will be adding all the links in the stories for you guys to check out. So let's end this on a fun note. Okay, BIM is
Um,
not.
BIM is not Revit. It's more than that.
Okay, that's the new tagline. Thank you. Everyone is gonna see it all over Instagram soon. If you have more questions, please put it up in the stories after this. And do check out Harsha's story, which is also out on our blogs currently. So Harsha has an interesting story wherein he starts off with his architecture, guesses how things are going to turn out, and builds a career from there onwards. I think all of you guys should check it out. Again, that will be added in the stories after this. And thank you so much for being here and talking to us, Harsha. And have a
Of
great
course.
weekend.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. See you.
See you.